here is, I'm just going to do a quick recap on the factoring higher terms. And here's the thing we're going to go back to as a reference continuously, because once you do the synthetic division, you're going to have to figure out what method you're using. So I'm going to try to do this fast because I don't have a ton of time, and you don't want to sit here for a long time either. So I'll just keep pulling this back up when we get to the point where we need that. You can pause the video right here if you want to and write this down, but I've probably already written it for you somewhere in your notes if you're watching this. But if you haven't, do it. Alright, so here's the thing with the higher order polynomials. Alright, let me see if I can squeeze it all into one screen. I may have to zoom out a little bit. Or maybe not. It won't zoom out. I will do that. That works too. Okay, so first step is always synthetic division. So I'm just going to do some examples as I do these. So once I do that division, I'm going to get a new polynomial. And it's going to be, I've just factored it using that division. So I'm going to write the factored polynomial that I now have, and I'll explain that. Okay, I had to stop and write and talk anyway. And then you have to choose a method of, that's terrible, sorry, of factoring to, I'm just going to say factor completely. Alright, so write those steps down somewhere on the side so that you can refer back to them as we go. So here's my first example. I've got this, x to the fourth plus 2x cubed plus 27x plus 54, and x is equal to negative 2. So I'm going to do the synthetic division. This is the part that I think we all have down. Make sure that you count 4, 3, there's not a 2, so you need a 0. So 4, 3, 2, 1, and my constant. So 1x to the fourth, 2x cubed, 0x squared, 27x, and 54. So now you bring down the first term. I'm not going to talk my way through this. I'm just going to do it. If you don't get 0, you did it wrong, because if this is a factor, it goes in evenly, and you should get 0. So I'm going to write my factored polynomial now. So my new factored version of this thing is this. I'm going to decrease by 1 degree, so that's going to be x cubed. There's not an x squared, there's not an x to the first, and that's plus 27. And then I've got x plus 2, because I'm going to take that 0 and put it back into a factor form, so it's going to be x plus 2. You change the sign. So now you got to choose. What are you going to do? It's two terms. It's either a difference of squares, which is a perfect square minus a perfect square, or it's the sum or difference of cubes. Well, we know it's not this for two reasons. That's not a square and that's not a minus. So it must be a sum of cubes. If it's a sum of cubes, then you're going to factor and get, remember this from back when we were factoring. I'm going to do this already because this is just your little tag along that's going to always keep coming down with your answer. So the cube root of x cubed is x. The cube root of 27 is 3. Your signs, since this is positive, is going to be plus, minus, plus. You square this first term, you multiply these two together, and you square the last one. If you have to do a sum or difference of cubes, chances are 99.9% of the time, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it, that's all you're going to be able to do. And that's your answer. So you do the division, you get your new polynomial, and you figure out what method of factoring you have to do. You want to always check your polynomials when you're finished and make sure that you've done all that you can do. Okay, back it up and rewatch it if you want to. Here's my next example. X to the fourth minus 2x cubed plus 64x minus 128. X is equal to 2. These look very similar because this little generator just kicks out Sometimes the problems are just really similar, and this one's kind of similar to the last one. So I'm dividing by 2. I've got 1x to the 4th, negative 2x cubed. There's not an x squared, 64x, and minus 128. So now I'm going to drop down 1 degree. So this is going to be x cubed, not an x squared, not an x to the 1st, plus 64. And I'm going to bring down my factor that I was given. So 2 terms, obviously not a difference of anything. It is a sum of cubes. And so if it's a sum of cubes, you're going to have binomial, trinomial, and my factor that was given. If it's positive, plus, minus, plus, take the cube root, square it, multiply it, square it. So I'm going to pause right here and just say this. This is where we're struggling. This is where you have to choose your method that is necessary to factor. This is just going to tag along until you get to the end. But this is where we're having our struggle. Okay? Let's do another one. I got about 9 minutes before I got to leave, and I don't think you want to watch 9 more minutes of me working, but we'll do what we got until I have to cut it off. Alright, so now we've got the next one. I've got x to the 4th plus 7x cubed plus 6x squared minus 28x minus 40, and x is equal to, is everything equal to 2? Negative 2. So, 4, 3, 2, 1, nothing's missing. 1, 7, 6, negative 28, negative 40, that was messy. Negative 2. I did something wrong. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, good grief. I did 5 right there. You probably already saw that. So that's 8, and that's negative 20. And then that's 40. I don't know why I did a 5. I have no clue. Anyway, here we go. So my new polynomial is going to drop down a degree. So that's x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x minus 20, and then x plus 2. 4 terms. Where's my little paper? Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. We're going to group it. So if you're grouping, I'm going to group, and I'm going to group. So I'm doing my shortcut, and I think I've explained it to just about everybody. Look at what you can take out for your greatest common factor. You know when you group, you're going to have 2 sets of parentheses. I'm going to go ahead and bring down my given factor. You know you're going to have 2 sets of parentheses. Take out your GCF in the first one, which is x squared. Take out your GCF in the second one, negative 4. So now, when I took out the x squared, what did that leave me? When I divided all of this by x squared, that left me with x plus 5. And double check it. When I took out a negative 4, when I divided that out, did it leave me with x plus 5? Yes, it did. Okay, so there's my grouping. Now, this was not a sum or difference of cubes, so we need to check what we have. Can I do anything more to this one? Well, it's 2 terms. If it's 2 terms, what do we check for? A difference of squares, or since this is difference right here, we know a difference of cubes. Not cubes. This is not a cube, but it is a difference of squares. And you factor a difference of squares to be x minus 2, x plus 2. This is 2 terms, but it's just an x plus 5. There's nothing you can do to that. This is 2 terms. It was the one that was given. You won't ever be able to do anything to that. And that's my answer. Or, since I have 2 of these little jewels right here, I can do x minus 2, x plus 2 squared, and x plus 5. And the order that you put these in does not matter. Okay, so here's where you've got to choose your method. And then check it and make sure that you can't do more. Sorry. Okay, let's do another one. I've got x to the 4th minus 7x cubed plus 15x squared minus 35x plus 50, and x is equal to 2. Of course it is. So let's do the division. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So 1, 2, negative 5, negative 10, 5, 10, negative 25, negative 50. That looks funny. There we go. So write your new polynomial. It's going to decrease by 1 degree. So x cubed minus 5x squared plus 5x minus 25. And my factor that was given, x minus 2. Choose your method. It's 4 terms. What do we do? Hopefully in your little head you just said grouping. So we're going to group here and here. I'm doing my shortcut again. I know I'm going to need 2 sets of parentheses. What can I take out of x cubed minus 5x squared? What can I take out of 5x minus 25? When I factor an x squared out of this first binomial, I'm going to get x minus 5. When I factor a 5 out of the second binomial, I'm going to get x minus 5. So this is right. So now we need to check for more. X squared plus 5, 2 terms. If it's 2 terms, you have 3 options. A sum of cubes, that's not it. A difference of cubes, nope. A difference of squares, nope. There's nothing I can do. That's my answer. X minus 5. If it's just anything to the 1st degree and there's not a GCF in there, then just know that that's all you can do. X minus 2, there's my answer. I've got time for about 1 more. Are you kidding me?